So, lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor, but White says she hasn't spoken with the trainers.
The loudest message in WNBA history was just delivered without a single word. Caitlin Clark, the superstar who breathed life back into Indiana basketball, has reportedly gone silent. After her latest injury, sources claim she has cut off communication with the Indiana Fever's medical staff, a move that signals a crisis far deeper than a strained groin muscle. This isn't just about an injury, it's about a complete breakdown of trust. Now, a secret meeting with a rival team has fueled speculation that Clark is already planning her escape from an organization that seems incapable of protecting its most valuable asset.
Pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
When Caitlin Clark limped off the court on July 15th against the Connecticut Sun, it was the breaking point in what many are now calling a catastrophic failure by the Indiana Fever. This wasn't just another injury, it was the final straw. For a player who had been a beacon of durability throughout her college career, this moment of visible frustration clutching her groin signaled that something was fundamentally wrong behind the scenes. This was the moment a superstar's patience officially ran out.
She has met with a different doctor. And she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, you know, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, oh, she's gone to a different doctor and they've heard nothing.
The immediate aftermath of the injury sent shockwaves through the league. Clark reportedly took matters into her own hands, telling team officials she was getting her own doctors and would no longer use the team's staff. This decision to go rogue is the ultimate vote of no confidence. When your franchise player refuses to communicate with the very people hired to keep her healthy, it's a clear sign that the relationship has been shattered, perhaps beyond repair.
News: Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available. This
bold move immediately drew comparisons to the infamous Kawhi Leonard situation in San Antonio. That saga began with a superstar losing faith in his team's medical advice and ended with him forcing a trade. Clark is now following that same playbook, seeking outside opinions, seizing control of her own recovery, and sending a clear message that she will not risk her career for an organization she no longer trusts.
But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which, if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed, and then she returned to play.
To understand her frustration, you only need to look at the timeline. This season has been a medical disaster. It started with left leg soreness in the preseason, followed by a left quad strain in May that cost her the first game of her career. Then came a left groin injury in June, and now the right groin injury in July. 4 separate muscle injuries in a single season is not bad luck. It's a pattern that screams medical mismanagement.
Caitlin Clark's team has made it known we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at all. After taking Indiana Fever's advice, eventually Caitlin Clark needs to take matters into her own hands, make decisions for herself, and I believe that's what we are seeing with the team that she now has surrounding her.
The breaking point was being rushed back from her previous groin injury, only to re-aggravate it within a few games. Sources close to the situation say this was the moment Clark decided she could no longer trust the team's judgment. The Fever's subsequent statement on July 24th, which confirmed no new damage but offered no timetable for her return, only deepened the mystery and fueled speculation that Clark's camp is now in full control of the narrative.
The people are speculating that Caitlin Clark injury could be much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal. To have these strains back to back like this, and I said this before, Caitlin Clark's mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May. Then she came back and got re-injured around the 4th of July to the 5th, somewhere up in there of July. And then that brings us until now.
This crisis on the medical front is compounded by a clash in coaching philosophy. Last season under Christy Sides, the strategy was simple. Let Clark be Clark. Sides, for all her other flaws, understood that you unleash a generational talent, not restrain them. She gave Clark the ball, let her run the offense at her preferred pace, and the results were record-breaking stats, sold-out arenas, and a playoff appearance.
The only good news about today is Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks, and I stand with you,
season,
Caitlin
new
Clark.
coach Stephanie White has openly spoken about wanting Clark to play more off the ball and fit into her pre-existing system. To analysts and fans, this shows a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes Clark a phenomenon. You don't take the ball out of Magic Johnson's hands, and you don't turn Caitlin Clark into a supporting actor in someone else's show. Greatness demands accommodation, not assimilation.
The problem of this team is Stephanie White. It's Stephanie White. It's not Caitlin Clark. A great player don't all suddenly sucks. That doesn't happen. It's strategic. And everybody's saying that they played better without Caitlin Clark. No. Actually, even this loss, Caitlin Clark gives them a better chance. They're under 500 without Caitlin Clark.
The most damning evidence of Clark's unhappiness surfaced after a loss in New York. Photos emerged showing Clark and her agent in what appeared to be a private meeting in the arena tunnel with Liberty coach Sandy Brondello and stars Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. This wasn't a casual post-game chat. The presence of her agent transformed the encounter into what looked exactly like a business meeting.
But this is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. When you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded. A player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
This meeting sent a crystal clear message to the entire WNBA. While the Indiana Fever were fumbling their superstars' health and career, the New York Liberty were making their pitch. The optics were undeniable. A rival team with a championship culture was laying the groundwork for a future where Clark could be their centerpiece. A future that looks increasingly appealing as her situation in Indiana deteriorates.
Out there, why Caitlin Clark was injured is a real thing. It's not just because she's a good player and people go hard against her, in my opinion. There's some other stuff going on there. A lot of pressure to put people in seats, to put eyeballs on the game. You come back a little early. Teams, as they should, play hard against her. Some teams go over the line and refs seem to look the other way, in my opinion. You had some of that going on with some other talent in the league as well last year. But this is different. And Stephanie White needs some blame as well. The team seems a little rudderless.
Let's talk about what Clark's absence truly costs the Fever. With her on the court, they are a competitive playoff team. Without her, they are mediocre, struggling to stay afloat. This isn't just about losing a great player, it's about losing their identity and their engine. The team is 4-6 without Clark this season, a record that underscores just how much they depend on her to win.
Remember Peyton Manning when he called his own plays? He said, Tony Dungy, you run the defense, I run the offense. That's what exactly needs to happen in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark is literally Peyton Manning. She should be calling the plays. She should run the offense. And Stephanie White call the defense.
Here's the uncomfortable truth that Indiana fans must face. Caitlin Clark owes the franchise nothing. In less than 2 seasons, she has given them everything. Sold-out crowds, unprecedented national television ratings, a return to the playoffs, and millions in revenue. She single-handedly made the Indiana Fever relevant for the first time in nearly a decade.
There is a WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, like, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie contract is up. Because
what has the organization given her in return? A parade of preventable injuries, coaching instability, and a medical staff she obviously cannot trust. She is being asked to carry an entire franchise on her back, while that same franchise fails to provide the most basic level of support, keeping her healthy and putting her in a position to succeed.
Quote, this is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just continue to do that, Clark said in an event during All-Star Weekend per Glamour. Being a professional athlete, you really have to take care of both your body and your mind. It's been a journey learning about that.
The frustration is that Clark is in her absolute prime right now. At 23 years old, she should be leading a team that is meticulously building a dynasty around her. Instead, her prime years are being wasted as the organization struggles with fundamental issues like proper medical care and basic coaching strategy. Every game Clark misses is another game closer to her inevitable departure. Her body language tells the story her public statements won't. After her latest injury, she was visibly emotional, burying her head in a towel in clear frustration. Her decision to seek outside medical opinions and her private meeting with a rival team are not the actions of a player who is committed long-term. They are the actions of a superstar who is planning her next move. The choice for the Indiana Fever is now brutally simple. They can either wake up and build everything around Caitlin Clark the right way, with a top-tier medical staff, a coach who maximizes her talent, and a system built for her, or they can watch her walk away. Right now, every misstep is another nail in the coffin of their relationship with her. The clock is ticking, and Caitlin Clark's patience has officially run out. The organization is at a crossroads, and its actions over the next few months will determine its fate for the next decade. They can either correct their course and prove they deserve a once-in-a-generation talent, or they will be remembered as the franchise that drove away the best thing that ever happened to them. No matter what challenges you face, remember that your health and well-being come first. Like any elite performer, you have the right to seek the best support and build a team around you that you can trust. Adversity is not a sign to give up, but a signal to take control of your own path. Your journey is yours to command, and you have the strength to make the decisions that will lead you to success and protect your future. Stay resilient, trust your instincts, and never be afraid to demand what you deserve.